Hey guys, TheAirsoftTech here and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about some gun work that I did for a G&G UMP-45. So this build here has been several months in the making, not because it was a difficult build. Actually, it's really quite simple. It was the fact that I had to secure parts to complete the build. A lot of things are out of stock / really difficult to find right now. I guess it's a general view on the economy as a whole. A lot of things are just out of stock, especially in the tech department. So it was very difficult for me to find a Gate Aster V3 for a while, at least from a reputable source that didn't want to overcharge me and therefore my customer. So, it's a really simple build. We're going to go ahead and dig into it and talk about everything that I did. All right, so we'll actually start externally. And first and foremost, the G&G UMP-45 is actually really well put together. Makes a lot of sense the way that they designed it to break down and to make it easy to work on. It just makes sense. I know a lot of UMPs, or some of them out there, kind of have that version 3 medium type motor kind of bridge. This does not have that. It's a simple version 3 cage on a version 3 gearbox shell. So that's super duper cool. Standard version 3 gearbox makes it super easy to work on and super easy to upgrade if you so desire. Externally, I did absolutely nothing. Everything on here is the customer's doing, not of my own. As you can see here, they have an external battery pouch, which for this build you really don't need. You could use a stick lipo in here and be just fine. This is not a very stressful or power hungry build, so really a decent stick lipo battery will do just fine. We have a mock suppressor on here that kind of easily comes off and reveals a little bit of a barrel underneath. There you go. Just a little bit of extra barrel length underneath. Not necessary, but just what the customer sent me and what he wanted, so that's what we did. So that just slides right back on there. Standard G&G high cap magazine and some other little furniture things here that, again, the customer did and not me. And if you notice, there is a Retro Arms version 3 aluminum trigger underneath there. The problem with this trigger was that it didn't really want to come down all the way. It wasn't really long enough to fill up the whole trigger housing here externally. So it's not all the way in, just because the way the gearbox sits, it sits kind of higher in the UMP. So higher than the G36, for example, which is what this trigger is really designed for, a G36 or an AK. So yeah, that's a thing here. It works totally fine though, but it's just not all the way out in the trigger housing, so it can be a little awkward, but it looks pretty good, and so that's what we're gonna go with. Anyway, let's break it down and actually talk about what we did on the inside. So dismantling the gun is actually very simple. You just kind of pop this little bolt out here that kind of loosens the lower from the upper, and then you kind of do this stock thing here, and then you basically can just hinge it open. But before you do that, you want to take your finger inside the mag well and actually depress the hop-up chamber into the outer barrel a little bit so that it clears the air nozzle. And then obviously watch your wiring, and then it comes out just like that, and then this takes down just like a G36. It's very simple, makes a lot of sense, very easy to work on. So we'll just start with the barrel and the hop-up chamber first. First and foremost, we have an EDGI 6.01 millimeter barrel. It's very nice, it's steel, it's R-hopped. You got the G&G stock chamber here. It's gonna work totally fine. There's no need to replace it. And then underneath you have a Lonex 70-degree bucking that is modified to accept an R-hop patch. And then you just have I think a fishbone style nub in there. And it's working great, actually. I was kind of surprised at how well it worked with the R-hop. I tend to like really flat nubs for R-hop combinations, but this is actually working great. The accuracy is awesome, the range is great, the precision is there, so there's no real need to change it out to a flat hop design. So that's what we got going on here. Let's move to the gearbox. All right, so gearbox wise, pretty straightforward build. First and foremost, we have a Gate Aster V3, the basic version. You can connect via Bluetooth with the BlueLink adapter and program it that way, and it works really well. The only problem I had with it was kind of programming the selector switch. I did have to program it outside of the gearbox shell, or outside of the lower receiver, so I just had the whole gearbox shell and motor cage assembled, popped out the gearbox shell and programmed it that way, and kind of eyeballed it with how closely I can get to here, and now it works fine. So this is safe, that's semi, and that is obviously full auto, and the Aster recognizes it as so. You got this little nice wire harness here that can kind of hold on to the whole wire apparatus from the version 3 Aster. So that's tucked away all nicely, so none of the wiring gets chipped or pinched when you close your receivers together. Internally here you have an M110 spring, an SHS 15-tooth steel piston, SHS 13-to-1 gear set. You have an ASG 28 TPA motor. Obviously steel bushings, because there's no reason to not do that on a gun that has 7mm bushing slots. And that's about it. I think this is a ZCI cylinder as well. A little bit of porting to it just because the barrel is fairly short. With AOE correction it comes out to about right. So then obviously I put in a ball bearing spring guide and some other little real small things. And obviously the Retro Arms version 3 trigger that we talked about before. It does work pretty well. I mean, you know, perfect. There's no real problems with it at all. So everything reciprocates nicely into safety. It locks just nice. So yeah, this build kind of went off without a hitch. Everything's going well. The biggest problem was, again, sourcing parts. So let's put it back together and show off its performance. I really enjoyed working on this G&G UMP. It's really cool. It's really, you know, laid out well. It makes sense to take apart. It's really fun to work on. Kind of wish I had one of my own because it's just really, really cool. So yeah, hopefully I get more guns like this in the future to work on as opposed to the standard M4. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and if you haven't already, please like this video, comment down below, and subscribe if you have not already. All three of those things, really any one of them, but all of them together absolutely help my channel grow. But that's going to have to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching again. I'll see you guys in the next video of whatever the heck I'm doing, but until then, stay tuned, techs.